actually, I'd like to set the stage a little bit for what happened to you, because everyone knows that it was, well, everyone may not have heard the story on Something Cool News last week. So really briefly, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to recap what happened to you. Basically what has happened is Jason was driving finished driving one of his friends home one night a couple weeks ago now in Coquitlam, and saw a group of kids on the street, and seeing one of them kind of slightly ahead, was concerned that that kid may in fact have been the victim of another assault, and pulled over to try and help him. And I guess the kid wasn't too nice to you.
No, I wouldn't really even use too nice. I would say pretty much he was pretty much out of it. So yeah, it wasn't even a question of niceties.
No, it was a question of him punching you in the face and being quite mean to you, I thought, actually. After that point, Jason took off from the scene, but not so far away that he couldn't see the group of kids on the street. And of course, he did what we're supposed to do. He called the police, and the police told him, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Jason, the police told you that you should actually return home and wait for the police to arrive then. Is that correct?
Actually, it is, but you left out a crucial part about how they also mentioned they've had several phone calls about the people as well, and I was one of the last people to call, and yeah.
Oh, so the police actually knew about this group of kids before you called?
Yeah, other people had already called the police and complained about there's a group of teenagers, I suppose, that were walking around making a lot of noise. They're clearly drunk and possibly vandalizing other property, and I called about 20 minutes after their first call, according to the dispatcher.
Wow. Actually, that's part of the story that I did not know, and that is adds another element to this. So they told you to go back home, and of course you did that, and then evidently it took them a little while to show up at your door.
Yeah, well, I was situated at such a point that I could see the assailant and the people that he was with, a mob, if you really want to call it that. And they continued to walk, and I asked the dispatcher, like, I can see them from here. I'm at a safe distance. I'm also in a car, so I feel quite confident that I'll be safe to sit here and wait for the police if you need further identification. And they said, well, it would probably be better for you just to go home, and we will contact you shortly afterwards to let you know what happened if we catch them. And if we don't, we'll let you know as well. So I continued to go home, and yeah, when I got home, I waited for about 10 minutes, and I got a phone call saying they had caught the people that fit the description. So I said, well, great, what do you want me to do? And they said, if you could just stay up for a little bit longer, we'll be there shortly. And this was probably at about, I think it was at about 2 o'clock in the morning or so, and they didn't show up for at least an hour afterwards, close, if my memory serves correct.
So then they showed up at your door, and I guess this is some 2 hours after the initial incident,
yep.
And asked you what it is you wanted to do now that they had caught the assailant?
Yeah, it was probably closer to about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, actually. Sorry, not trying to change my story. It's just, it was quite a while ago it happened.
Right.
And yeah, well, when they took my statement, I wrote one out when I got home, just so that my memory didn't get blurred, because that kind of is one favorable to those memories, I suppose. But yeah, so I wrote it out, and they asked me what happened. I told them. They asked what I wanted to do, and I told them flat out, I don't know what you can do. I don't know if it's underage. I haven't taken any criminology courses. I'm not quite sure how the law works. But the only time I ever had to run in with a law would be speeding tickets.
So then they asked you what you wanted to do, and I believe there was a suggestion made that you should go down to the station and take a look at a book of suspects, evidently to pick out the correct suspect to ensure that they had, in fact, the right assailant.
Yeah, that's correct. They told me that what was going to happen was if I wanted to press charges, I'd have to identify the assailant, and they said they already had him on file, so clearly he had priors. And they said we can either do it tonight or we can do it later on in the week, because we're going to be off for a little bit, taking the case on. We can't hand it over to someone else. And
so then naturally you said, well, let's get it done tonight while it's still fresh in my memory.
Yes, I told them flat out, like, well, let's go do it right now. I don't know if I can hop in my car or hop in your cruiser, or what goes on from here. And they said, oh, well, we're actually off soon, and we're going to be going away for a bit, so we'll have to do it, I guess, on Wednesday, and this happened on a Friday night.
Quite infuriating, I guess, to tell you on one hand, come on down now, and then say, actually, no, let's not do that because we're going to be off shift in a little while.
Yeah, and that wasn't the first mistruth that I was told about the situation also. So yeah, it was somewhat. I don't really even know the word to say it. It was discouraging, I guess, to hear. Well, you can come down and do it now, but oh, we didn't think that you were going to do that, so we just threw the option out there anyways. Really doesn't help the matter at all.
Now, in the interview I did with you for the article that's up on the website this week, you mentioned they asked you to play a memory game with them.
Yeah, well, when I said I wanted to do it right away, they said, all right, well, let's play a memory game. And at that point, I lost my cool and told that I didn't want to play any games. It wasn't a question about let's play memory and flip over some cards, and if I get them right, then hey, I'm the winner. Really, it's more of a. It was something I wanted to do right away because, again, like you said and like I said, I wanted to fresh into my memory because the incident had happened only a mere hour or so away, maybe two.
Right.
They said, let's play a game, and to me, I found that to be incredibly disrespectful, and it was almost like they were patronizing me.
I can't see me in the studio, man, but I kind of chuckled a little bit there when you said, like I'm a winner there, and it isn't actually all that funny because obviously you were expecting some sort of swift action on the police, and they just seem to be giving you the string along and running you around a little bit, and this is after you've been assaulted. I understand you were punched in the face.
Yes, I was.
And had your car kicked. So you've been the victim of actually two crimes here. You've called the police as you're asked, and they want to play a game with you.
Correct, and I found that to be incredibly disrespectful, especially seeing what I'd been punched in the face after trying to do right by the good American law, helping someone that was in trouble, from what I had perceived the situation, and then getting basically dirt thrown in my face, and then having them destroy my, not only hobby, but my pride and joy, my car.
Now then, you, of course, did you go down to the police office on Wednesday?
Actually, I called them because that's what I was instructed to give them a call before I headed down, because he didn't know if he would be in the office or out on the road at the time, so I would set up an appointment with him to come down and identify the suspect.
And then what did they say when you called them?
Well, when I spoke with the officer, I was given the runaround for about 20 minutes trying to track him down. We'll send you to dispatch. Okay, now we'll send you to the radio office. All right, we'll have to give him a call and he'll call you back. So I finally got a call back after all this maze running. Yes. And the problem is that I was going to set it up this morning, but I guess I failed to recognize that as one of my tasks, or I just didn't get around. So we're going to have to do this tomorrow, which in fact I couldn't actually do the next day due to the fact that I have other commitments with work.
Of course, you go to school and you have a job, and then so they put you off till Friday, and then you call them on Friday morning to tell them, okay, I'm ready to come down and do this, and then they told you they didn't even have the picture. Is that correct?
Actually, it wasn't even in the morning because he said that I'd have to do it on Friday night because that's when he started his shift.
Friday night.
So yes, on Friday night at around 8 p.m. I called him and I said, all right, I'd like to do this now. It's been about a week, so I don't. This is after he'd already told me. Sorry, I called him and he said that again. Yeah, sorry, we don't actually have a picture of him. I was thinking I'd just go get a picture of him now. Set this up, and I told him that I was really unimpressed with how the situation had been handled. In fact, it's now been a full week the attack has happened, and literally bupkis has been done to fix the situation.
Now, I mean, I want to be clear. They told you the night of the assault that they knew who the guy was, they had pictures of him, and he was probably on file. And then a full week later, when you go down there to look at this picture, they tell you, oh, actually, we don't have a picture.
Correct. He didn't actually say he knew who I was talking about. He said, I believe I know which person you're referring to in that group, which, given the description I gave, a white male, shaved head, no facial hair, ripped t-shirt covered in blood, I figured that would be probably the only person in that group that would really fit that description. But apparently that's not quite good enough.
Right.
So said that yes, he probably knew who I was talking about, but he couldn't actually confirm it at that point. But that he knew that the person that I was talking about had pictures. So.
But they blatantly lied to you, saying they had the picture, and then Friday they said, oh, actually we don't.
I don't really want to go ahead and say that the police have flat out lied to me, but I do believe that they did have a terrible communication at the time, telling me that they said had him on file, and then turn around and be like, oh, actually we don't. I just think that wasn't very professional.